How's it going, Data Bytes? It is No Data here, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Roblox Murder Mystery 2, and welcome back to the Christmas event for Murder Mystery 2. In the previous episode, we went ahead and got the godly from the gifting center, so be sure to check out that video if you haven't done so. But guys, in today's video, we are going to take a look at the final knife that is in this event so far, or sort of the final set of knives, or the same knife. I don't know, man. Evo knives are complicated. Today, we are going to be buying and evolving the brand new Evo knife that is in the Christmas event. I brought this up earlier, but I'm kind of surprised that we have another Evo knife in Murder Mystery 2. It was just sort of out of left field, but I guess so many people requested for an Evo knife to come back that I guess it just sort of happened. And this Evo will eventually take you to this wonderful new ancient hammer that everyone seems to be staring at. But guys, this is the second Evo knife to ever be in the game, and we haven't gotten an Evo knife in a long time. It's been over a year since our last Evo, so real quick, for those out of the loop, let's go ahead and review what these Evo knives are and how they work, because again, there haven't been that many and some of you guys might be out of the loop. So instead of a bundle this year, you guys can go ahead and buy this Evo knife for 1,700 Robux. And initially, when you buy this knife, you're only going to get a rare. So you're going to buy this and you are going to get a rare knife. Right here, you can see the picture of it. However, guys, if you equip this knife and just use it throughout the rounds, it will actually gain experience points as you gain XP while playing this game. Slowly but surely, this knife will get some experience, and once it gets enough experience, it will evolve into some higher tiers. So eventually, it'll evolve into a legendary, a godly, and then eventually, this tiny old rare knife will be evolved into a super cool ancient. And it should be noted that Evo knives are not tradable, unfortunately. And we can use the previous Evo knife for an example. As you can see, I have a fully evolved Reaver Evo right here, and I can click on it, and basically I can equip any version of this knife that I want to, believe it or not. So if a knife is evolved, you can de-evolve it into an earlier state if you want. So you're basically just unlocking more knives as you go. That being said, you can see that it always appears as an ancient in my inventory. So in your inventory, it'll always look as the highest tier version of the knife that you have. But again, by all means, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and, you know, equip the godly version if I wanted to. There it is. Here's a godly version. And yeah, essentially we have another version of that for the Christmas event. And we're just going to get into it. We are going to go ahead and buy this brand new knife. We're going to try it out in battle. I'm going to show you guys all of the tiers that you can get, and getting the ancient is definitely going to be quite a grind, so I'm going to have to grind a lot for it, but hopefully eventually I should get this ancient. So yeah, as always, if you're excited for this episode of Murder Mystery 2, then be sure to drop a like on this video. Helps out a whole lot. And also comment down below Ice Crusher. And as always, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more Murder Mystery 2 videos in the future. And if you really want to support me, you can use star code purple when buying Robux and Roblox Premium, especially if you're thinking about buying this Evo. I would really encourage you to use star code purple because it really helps me out to continue making these videos for you guys. And yeah, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it, and let's go ahead and buy the Ice Crusher. Now, when I buy it, again, it's just going to start off as a rare, so I'll show you guys what the rare looks like, and then I'll have to work towards evolving it. So let's go ahead and get the Ice Crusher. There it is for 1,699 Robux. Let's go ahead and buy it. 3, 2, 1, and boom. And there we go, guys. We just bought the Evo Ice Crusher, so it should show up. There it is. Look at that, dude. And there it is. We just got the rare version of the Ice Crusher, so let's claim that. And there it is, the Evo Ice Crusher. So you can see the other tiers. Unfortunately, they're not available. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and equip the rare form. All right, guys, so here it is. Here is the Ice Crusher knife in its rare form, and as you can see, it is a knife made entirely of ice. Unfortunately, it seems that a lot of the ice is broken. You can see a bunch of cracks in the ice. You can see some water there. It seems as if the ice is almost sort of melted. You can see that the handle of the knife is a nice purple, so that's cool as well. And that's pretty much it in terms of the rare knife. There's really not much else to say about it. Obviously, this is a really simplistic knife right now, but like I said, guys, eventually this will evolve into a really cool godly and eventually an ancient. So yeah, not much else to say about the knife at the moment. It's basically just a knife made out of broken ice. And yeah, now I basically just have to keep this knife equipped and basically just evolve it into more powerful versions. So I just gotta gain a bunch of XP. That is probably going to take a while. Right now, I need 36,000 XP to get the legendary, which is pretty standard, not too difficult. Once I become the murderer a few times, I should reach the legendary form, but it's not going to get any easier. Like, the grind from the godly form to the ancient form is really difficult. But yeah, I'm just going to have to grind that out. Really, no way to get through it. And I'll be back once it's in its legendary form. All right, so I did a bit of grinding on stream, and as you can see, I managed to get the Ice Crusher into its legendary form. So here is the Ice Crusher as a legendary. You can see that it's still mostly a knife made out of ice. You can see that it's a bit more refined. You can see that the knife itself is encased in some metal, which is pretty nice. You can see that there are far less cracks in the ice compared to its rare form. I mean, obviously, ice is going to have some cracks of some form, but for the most part, this definitely looks like an evolution. You can see that it is significantly better than it was in the rare form. Not too much has changed. You know, you still got the purple handle and stuff, and the knife is made out of ice, but you can see that there's a lot more metal to support the ice in the knife, basically. Whereas previously with the rare form, the ice was sort of just all over the place and cracked and not really all that great. So yeah, you can see that this knife is really starting to take form now. So yeah, other than that, not too much else to say about the legendary form. It's still a pretty simple knife, but again, it is going to evolve into even greater stuff from here on out. And the next form after this is the godly form. Very soon, this knife is going to become a godly. Again, I did a bit of grinding on stream. I'm about halfway there to the godly form. But as you can see, I need 216,000 total XP. So we've definitely got quite a long way to go, but this is pretty good progress. Now we got the legendary form. And again, the legendary form looks pretty good in its own right. So I'm going to do some more grinding and I will be back when this knife evolves into a godly. Alright guys, so I'm back at it. I did quite a bit of grinding and as you can see, I now have the knife in its godly form. So yeah, here it is. This is the Ice Crusher in its godly form. And as you can see, this knife is really starting to take shape. You can see that it is a really cool ice sword. You can see that the knife is made entirely of ice. We do have some metal at the hilt right here. And you can also see a little bit of a blue gem right here. But I guess that's probably just more ice. That's probably not a gem. That's probably just more ice when you think about it. And then just like normal, we have a purple handle right here for the knife. So this is a pretty cool godly knife. I'd say it's pretty simplistic compared to other godlies. But for what it's worth, it does get the job done. I'd say my only big issue with this ice sword is that, well, we already have a bunch of other ice swords in the game. I mean, we already have Ice Dragon and Ice Flake and Snowflake. I feel like these are already swords made out of ice. And yes, you can see that its ancient form is very similar to Icebreaker, but like, at least it's a hammer, you know what I mean? I don't think we've ever had an ice hammer in MM2, or a hammer in general for that matter. So this knife is definitely going to improve once it becomes an ancient. The godly it's okay, but again, I feel like there's already a lot of ice swords that to me, this godly just doesn't really stand out. But if you don't have any other ice-themed godlies, this one is definitely pretty good. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to say about this godly knife. So yeah, now I just gotta finish this up and evolve this knife into an ancient, which is definitely going to be a challenge. But as you can see, I'm getting pretty close. But it takes forever to evolve it into an ancient, let me tell you. I mean, the grind from legendary to godly is bad enough. But then you find out you finally evolve it into a godly, and then you're not even a quarter of the way there to an ancient. Also, recently, the Ice Piercer became an ancient, which was pretty cool. Originally, this gun was a godly, but it became an ancient, which is really nice. Anyway, I gotta get back to grinding this thing out, but we're almost done. And pretty soon, this is going to become an ancient knife. But yeah, once again, this is the Ice Crusher in its godly form. Alright guys, so I am finally back, and as you can see, I finally got the Ice Crusher into its ancient form. This definitely took a lot of grinding, and of course I can go back to the other forms if I want to, but of course I'm going to try out this awesome ancient form. Right off the bat, this knife looks really cool. Let's go ahead and try it out. I'm in assassin mode yet again, so let's see how this thing looks. This definitely takes a lot of XP to fully evolve. You need literally 800,000 experience points in order to bring it up to an ancient, which is kind of insane. But yeah, you can see that we started with the rare, and it has finally become an ancient, one of the highest tiers in the game. And yeah guys, here it is. Here is the Ice Crusher in its ancient form, and as you can see, it is literally a hammer made out of ice. This thing is freaking massive. This is definitely one of the biggest ancients we've ever seen. So you can see that there is a bunch of ice around the hammer, and then near the middle we have some purple. We have a skull on here with some blue eyes, and as always the handle is purple. Here is the handle right here. We have some ice at the bottom as well, and here it is in first person. Again, this thing is freaking massive. When you play in first person, it takes up so much of your screen. But yeah, you can just see the hammer flying around. It looks super cool. Honestly, I've seen a lot of hate for this knife in particular, specifically its ancient form, and honestly, I don't know why it gets so much hate. A lot of people don't like this knife because apparently it looks a lot like the Icebreaker, which the thing is, I think that's intentional. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I think that's how it's supposed to be. As you guys know, back in 2020, we got the Ice set, which had the Icebreaker and the Ice Blaster right here, and I think it's pretty obvious that the Ice Crusher is supposed to be an extension of that set. I mean, it goes with the name as well, the Ice Crusher. That obviously sounds very similar to Icebreaker. So yeah, I mean, obviously the Ice Crusher looks very similar to the Icebreaker because it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be an extension of that set. I would even argue that the Ice Piercer is also an extension to that set. So I would argue that there's like 4 different weapons in this set. So I don't know, it's just kind of funny how people are so mad at Ice Crusher looking a lot like Icebreaker, when during this year's event we got the Elderwood Blade, which was obviously an extension of the Elderwood set. We got the Elderwood Blade and a lot of people really liked it. It's kind of like saying that the Elderwood Blade is bad because it looks similar to the Elderwood scythe. It's like, yeah, that's the point. So honestly, I really like this knife. I think it's a really good extension to the Ice set. The only thing is it's not tradable. So that kind of ruins the set in a sort of way. And another thing that I really like about this ancient is that it's literally a hammer. And this is the first ever hammer in Murder Mystery 2. You guys already know that my most favorite knives are the ones that are super unique and like distinct from other knives. And Ice Crusher fits that criteria perfectly because it's literally the first and only hammer in Murder Mystery 2. To my knowledge, I don't believe there's any other godly hammers. I'd say this is way better than the Icebreaker because the thing is, you know, Icebreaker, it's a really cool knife, don't get me wrong, but we already have so many axes in the game. Many years back, we got the log chopper axe, and, you know, recently we got the swirly axe for the last Christmas event. But this time around, we got a hammer. That makes it so much more unique. Honestly, Ice Crusher is probably my favorite weapon in this event. The Ice Piercer, of course, is really close. The Ice Piercer seems to be the fan favorite this time around, and Ice Piercer is still pretty good. I'd say it's a close second, but again, we've already had a crossbow in Murder Mystery 2. We got the Harvester. That was the first crossbow. And, you know, there's not many crossbows, so of course getting a second one is a welcome addition. Definitely really cool to get a second crossbow. I don't hate it by any means. But again, this is the only hammer in Murder Mystery 2, so I think I gotta give the Ice Crusher credit for this one. This is probably my favorite weapon in this event. But yeah, that's just my take. I don't know, maybe people don't really like set extensions anymore. I guess it worked for Elderwood Blade, but not really for the Ice set. Would have been cool to get some new sets, I will say that. You know, it's nice to get extensions of older sets, but it's also really cool to get new sets. I guess you could argue that Cookie Cannon Ginger Mint might be a set. I don't know, I can see where you're coming from, but my counterpoint to that is I don't like Ginger Mint. You're totally right, this could be a set, but I don't like Ginger Mint, so it doesn't count. Anyway, overall, it is a pretty cool knife. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't really have any value because, as you guys know, Evo knives are not tradable, and you can't really give a value to something that is not tradable, unfortunately. So yeah, if you want to get this knife for yourself, you are going to have to buy it right here for 1,700 Robux, and then you're also going to have to go ahead and grind it to ancient form, which is going to take a long time, especially if you don't have Elite. I could not imagine grinding for this thing without Elite. So overall, it's a pretty cool knife. It's just the thing is, I don't like Evo knives. Just, you know, the concept of an Evo knife, this is our second time getting it. I said during the Halloween event that we'd probably never get an Evo knife ever again. I'm surprised we got another one. And I'll be honest, I don't really like Evo knives all that much. I honestly might just make a whole video just dissecting Evo knives. I feel like that might do this concept more justice. But to summarize it, I mean, I like the concept. I like the concept of having a knife and getting XP and evolving it. I think that's a really unique concept, and it gives people a lot more motivation to get experience points. Because as you guys know, if you're like this person and you're max level, prestige 10, level 100, XP doesn't really do anything at all. You have no reason to get XP. But with Evo knives, it sort of gives you a motivation to get XP because, well, you're grinding to get a better version of your knife. So that's really cool. That gives XP a lot more value, even to people who are already max level. The concept is good. I just think my biggest gripe with Evo knives is that it's locked behind a paywall. You have to pay 1,700 Robux, and mind you, this is the exact price of like a normal shop godly. You have to pay this much just to get the rare, and then you're forced to grind all the way up to ancient to make your purchase worthwhile. And then the worst part is the knife isn't even tradable, so the ice crusher doesn't have any value. I said this in the Halloween event, but it's just not a good deal compared to a shop godly. With a shop godly, you know, you pay the same amount, you get a normal godly, and then it's tradable, so at least you're getting value out of it. Because whether you love new shop godlies or you're sick and tired of them, you gotta agree, they're much better deals than where you're getting from this. I don't know, that's kind of my take on Evos. I like the potential, but I think they need to change, like, a lot. So if you want to get this knife for yourself, I'd say get it if you really like this knife. Like I said, this is probably my most favorite knife in the event. It's so unique, super cool to use. But like I said, you gotta pay shop godly value just to be able to grind for it, and then you still gotta grind for it. And it takes a really long time to do so. You're gonna be here for weeks if you have a lead, and probably months if you don't have a lead. And then the knife's not even tradable, so you're not even getting any value out of it. So again, really only get it if you really want to get this knife and you're willing to work for it. If you want to get a knife that increases your inventory's value, I would just wait for a shop godly. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I finally evolved this knife. And yeah, I have pretty much everything in this event now. We've done pretty much everything. I'm still doing the giveaway for 1,000 free knives. I still have 300 gifts left to give. So stay tuned for those. If you want some free stuff, subscribe and hit that bell. I'm gonna be doing at least one more live stream of giving presents. The next one will be probably on the 29th. I'm not certain, but probably on the 29th. So keep that in mind. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Roblox Murder Mystery 2. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all those other things that YouTube people do. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay purple.